Now to the Ebola emergency. The second American aid worker infected with the deadly virus begins her journey home later today as her colleague, who became the first person with Ebola on U.S. soil, is getting better under close supervision. ABC's Steve Osunsami is at Emory University Hospital in Atlanta, where both will be treated. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, George. That second American fighting for her life is expected to leave Liberia our time this evening and arrive here tomorrow mid-morning. This morning, the world is waiting for Nancy Writebol to return home to America. The aid worker on a humanitarian mission in Africa, soon to become the second person ever to carry the Ebola virus onto U.S. soil. On Saturday, her colleague, Dr. Kent Brantley, was the first. That's him climbing down from the ambulance wearing a full biohazard suit, walking into Emory University Hospital.
To see him walk, which hadn't even occurred to me, was just unbelievable.
Brantley's wife, Amber, is not allowed to hold her husband's hand, but she has been able to see him. She says her husband's condition is improving. Flying him safely from Africa was complicated, to say the least. He was moved in a specially designed isolation pod like this one and an airtight tent, all disposable and good for one patient at a time, which is why the medical team is making 2 trips. Today, Writebol will begin traveling a more than 5,000-mile journey from Monrovia to the Azores to Bangor, Maine, before landing at Dobbins Air Force Base outside Atlanta Tuesday afternoon.
We have the environment and expertise to safely care for these patients.
Brantley and Writebol, both parents with 2 children, contracted the disease while treating African patients. Staff members at Emory Hospital and the CDC next door are on alert. They're taking every precaution, confident they can keep their staff healthy and the disease isolated.
It's a deadly disease, and it's understandable to be scared of it. But, you know, the bottom line with Ebola is we know how to stop it.
This has been quite a local story as well, with families here concerned that such a deadly pathogen is being brought into their neighborhoods. But those fears are misplaced. The CDC just down the street has much more deadly bugs safely on lockdown. George.
And we are joined now by Dr. Bruce Ribner, a professor of medicine at Emory University, also our own Dr. Rich Besser. And Dr. Ribner, we just heard Steve Osunsami talk about the anxiety in Atlanta. Are you facing any kind of a brushback from other patients or their families at the hospital, concerned about the possibility that this could spread?
We have been hearing some concern about safety, and frankly, we view that as an opportunity for education.
And Rich Besser, we heard from Samaritan's Purse and Dr. Brantley's wife that his condition is improving. We also know from them that he received some kind of experimental serum before he left Africa. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, as you remember, a week ago, there was discussion about 1 dose of an experimental anti-serum coming, and Dr. Brantley saying, no, I don't want it. Please give it to my colleague, Nancy Writebol. We don't know if this is the same product, and they haven't released information as to what exactly it was. I'm sure people are going to want to look at that very closely because, as you know, there is no known drug treatment or cure for Ebola.
No cure, and patients can seem to be improving, but then also slip back. When will we know if someone is actually safe to go out in public?
Yeah, you know, they will be monitoring him closely. What's normally seen in a case of Ebola is you have those acute symptoms, where you're so incredibly sick, and patients who are going to die, it's a downward spiral towards death. You usually do not see patients who are getting better and are able to walk and then slip back. I'm sure they'll be monitoring his liver function, his kidney function, since those are organs that tend to get hit hard. But I've talked to people who've treated Ebola patients, and they say once they're over that acute illness, they are able to return to their home, and they have not seen family members pick up Ebola from that exposure.
The body starts to learn how to fight the infection.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're looking for. Since there's no drug that's going to knock it out, a person's immune system has to fight that. The signs so far are very promising, and Samaritan's Purse said that he is improving. Also
promising that his colleague is now well enough or stable enough to be able to actually travel to the United States.
Well, they're going to have to assess her again when they arrive. The journey back in one of these transport planes can be very arduous. You know, she will be in an isolation pod on the way back. So the team that's picking her up will have to do the assessment. Is she as stable as Kent Brantley was? Can she make the journey back to Atlanta?
Okay, Rich Besser, Bruce Ribner, thank you both very much.